Hey friends, it's Jenny and I am here with my weekend haul. I'm really excited about some of the things that I got. As I mentioned before, I did get some items, a few items, maybe just a little bit from the Bead Box Bargains Christmas in July sale. But I also got a big old package full of soft flex wires from my sister because she knows there's certain colors that I use all the time, but also they recently had this sale. Let me get this. There's gonna be rustling packages as I pull all this out. They recently had this sale where as long as you bought at least 8 spools of the soft flex craft wire, that you could take, I think it was 20%, 25% off. It was a very good deal, a very, very good deal. And I chose 4 colors previously to kind of go ahead and get started with when I first started doing all of this stuff, because as you know, investing in a lot of different metal choices for craft wire can get a little bit pricey. Thus, again, our excitement over this sale. And so I went ahead and Becky said, give me a list. What do you want? And so I went ahead and expanded my color options so that I could have more choices when I'm making things, because I am going to participate with Becky in the Beaded Chain Challenge in September. So this is well timed. Good job, Softflex. I'm sorry I bumped that. I was putting something underneath it. I should not have. I'm in a new space. And I'm still getting used to the setup and where everything is. So if I adjust the mat or bump the arm that's holding my phone, I'm sorry. I am gonna get used to the new space. But so yeah, she told me to go ahead and choose some wire, and if I wanted it, she bought it. So I wanted some bright copper. So this is non-tarnished copper right here. And I got it in both 20 and 22 gauge. That's kind of my go-to sizes for now. I'm still learning a lot, so I'm not doing a whole lot with the thicker gauge. I did expand a little bit by getting 18 in gold, as well as, where did it go? A 24 in gold. I have a 24 in silver, so expanding a little bit in what gauges I'm willing to play with. But then also the silver in 18 gauge. So I am starting to expand the sizes, but for these new ones, we got the copper and we got the rose gold. Oh, those look different. They're both rose gold, the 20 gauge and the 22 gauge, and the 22 gauge looks a little bit more like a light gold rather than a rose gold. That's okay. I'll just use it differently. This one is definitely more on the pink side. I'm not sure if that's all coming through. Hope so. I changed a setting on my phone that I think was causing the problem. When moving into my new space, I absolutely improved the lighting, and it was really frustrating when we just did our live. The first thing that I did in this space, and my camera kept dimming everything, and it made it look like I had terrible lighting again. I don't. This is the pewter in 22 and 20 gauge. Becky likes to use this when she's using stainless steel findings because it's not as bright as, for example, the silver, and gives you a little bit more of that, you know. Plus, there are some great pewter findings, like the stuff from Green Gold Studio, which we found out is nickel free. So I know I can use that. So those are my metal color craft wires. I wanted to play around with some of them that are colored. So I did get a spool of the black so that I could play around with it, get a feel for it, see how much, at least my skill level, mars the wire, the color coding on that wire. And I might expand that into some other colors in the future, but I decided to start with black for the colored craft wire. And then because Becky loves me and she knows I use the heck out of these colors, she got me some more beading wire as well. It was not on sale, but she got me a 30-foot spool of the sterling silver, the 925 sterling silver Extreme Flex, which I love. It's that kind of pearly, barely silver thing. I love that, and I have something I'm going to make this weekend that I'm going to use that. I also love the satin silver. It's this nice medium gray that works with a lot of what I design. And because she sees me choose it all the time, she got me another spool, another 10-foot spool of the fluorite. And I just used some of that last night. So I'm happy. I have plenty of that for now. And then also, because she knows I love it, and this is not available anymore at Softflex, you have to, if you have a resale license, there are some places where you can get these larger spools of it, but it is this, I know that's like super, super bright, but I promise you I have plans for this. This is the yellow lemon quartz that used to be available. Oh, you can tie knots with this. That could be a fun, interesting thing to try. That could be interesting to try. Anyway, I wanted this. I've got some ideas coming up that will use this. And also I love yellow. And so having some nice bright. I don't know if I will use 60 feet, but Becky found it and she wanted to make sure that I got it and that it will last me a while because it is not being made anymore. So you can still find it some places. Some places require resale license. She did find a place in California. I did not bring the packing slip in, but I'll put the information in the description of the name of the company that she was able to find these, that they would sell it to her without having a resale license. Because Becky and I don't make our jewelry to sell. And we also don't have a shop. So neither of us would have a resale license. So that is my wire haul, my Softflex wire haul. She also... I have this little package because, you know, she was placing an order anyway, and I did not get the carnival kit, but I loved these little elephants, and so she got me these elephants, these lovely little green guys. They're so freaking cute with that copper wash. So yes, I got some little elephants. I'm not sure if they're still available. They might be in certain colors, but that was something that we got off of the Softflex store along with all of that wire. And they were doing a promo where they also included some free bead stoppers. So I have some more bead stoppers to add to my stash. So I have more. I'm going to go ahead and tuck this stuff away so that I have room because this next haul is a big one. This felt like a big one. I mean, like, look at all this wire and everything together, all the stuff that Becky got me, because my sister loves me and she pays me in beads and Softflex. So, you know, I have all of this. Ah, look at all that. Look at all that. I went off the camera. There was so much of it. Yeah, so that's fun and exciting. And I'll be right back. And I'm back. And my Bead Box Bargains does not usually come in a box, but this time it did. I had to back up the camera, like zoom out so that I could get this in here. I already folded my address down, but it's a four full page packing list with this giant bag. Get the box out of the way and bring this guy back. Giant bag full of goodies. So, yeah, this is going to be a little bit longer portion of the haul. I hope you're ready. Get a drink, settle in, put your feet up, maybe get a beading project out because this is going to take some sorting. I don't have it in order, but I would like to tell you what things are. So I am still going to follow the list. I just might have to dig. You know what? Give me a minute. I'm going to try to put this in order and see if we can do this a little bit more reasonably. I'll, again, be right back. Okay, this should go much more smoothly now. So I have everything sorted off to the side by prefix. So when I get to a certain section of my packing list, I'll grab the items that are under that prefix. So this should be a little bit easier. I'll have to like sort through a little bit, but not as badly because this, like you saw, I dumped it all out. This is a lot of stuff. I'm also going to stay zoomed out like this and just hold things up if you need to get a closer look. This is the Antique Copper Finding Kit, bag 25. And I went ahead and got this because I am using a lot more of antique copper now, and this had some findings in it I didn't already have, but that are nickel free. Like these are eye pins, and they're nickel free. And I have other crimps that I use, but there's these little guys. tiny little crimps. These would not work in the magical crimper, but they're also nickel-free. Some more nickel-free ear wires. That's made from a nickel-free brass. These are nickel-free clamshells. I don't really have very many clamshells and culottes, and that's one of those findings that I have to make sure is nickel-free, because that's going to be in a high wear area, because you always have these near a clasp. These pins are also nickel-free, and this packet right here is the only thing out of the whole kit I can't use, and that's just the jump rings. So I'm not going to use these jump rings, and I'll pass them along to my sister, who also loves to work with copper. So I figured that was a good deal. It was $5 in the Christmas in July, and it gave me a lot of finding that I didn't have. Like I said, I have some pins like this that came in the June bargain bead box, but I didn't have any eye pins, and there were times when I wished that I did. And so I'm really happy that I get those, and that I know, because of the labeling, that they're nickel-free. Thank you, Lauren, for labeling those. That was important for me to have that information. So I did get one of the findings kits. The next category that I've got here is caps. And I've got, let me set this guy over a way where they won't get mixed in with things that I'm keeping, the ones that I'm gonna pass along to Becky. Okay, so these are a lot bigger than I thought they would be. This is cap 1040, and they're these cool, like, they're an oval fancy cone bead cap in antique silver. But look at the size of that guy. He can fit on my fingertip. So this would be fantastic to use if you're combining multi-strands into one place. They would be fantastic for that, and they're really cool. I like the pattern on them. They've got like swirlies and the petals, and I think it's cool. I'm glad I got them. They're just they're bigger than I expected, which is fine. I did order 2 sets because there were only 2 for each, and I wasn't sure how I was going to use them, but I am gonna go ahead and pop them into the same little bag so that they take up less space in my storage. So we've got those guys. Turn them over. And then we've got these ones, cap 332. And these ones are dotted scallop bead caps in antique copper. They're smaller, so I'm gonna pour them onto my ladybug dish. So you can see the outside and inside of those caps. And I have a hard time finding bead caps that are nickel-free. For some reason, they often are not. I don't know if it's something about holding the shape that they decide that they need to add nickel to it, or just, you know, not as much demand. But these are really cool and go with other findings that I already have to go with the antique copper. Again, I don't really pass up, unless I just don't like it at all, I don't pass up the opportunity to get nickel-free bead caps. So I got those guys. I also got these guys. These are medallion bead caps in antique gold. And most of them turned over the wrong way, so I'm going to turn a few over this way so that you can see that pattern on them. And they have these little circular medallion patterns around them. Those could be some really fun ones to work with. And again, nickel-free and in something other than silver or stainless steel. But speaking of silver, I got some more, which is really good because I'm down to literally my last of these bead caps. I have one left of these little, they're just the little 5-petal bead caps. They've been in a box or 2 recently, but they're really sweet and delicate, and I like to use them because they add that little bit of bling without really covering your beads. So I like to use these where I really want to show off the bead, and it's less about the bling and more about the bead, but I just want a touch of shine. So I'm really happy that I have more of these guys, and they're all getting dumped. Again, I got 2 bags of that. I will need to get more, but they put them in the Christmas in July, and I'm like, I probably should have got more of these than just 2 because they are my favorite. They're my, I mean, if you can have a favorite bead cap, these are my favorite bead caps. So I'm really happy with those. Setting aside the extra packaging. So that's my little collection of bead caps. Go like, hello, all those bead caps. And then we'll go back out because next up we have some crystals. Crystals are next. And I'm just sliding these into a bag because I know I've already gone over them. That's gonna be the easiest way for me to do that. The stuff I've already gone over is just gonna get slid into a bag. I will sort them all out later. But let's get my pile of crystals. So this is my pile of crystals. And I've got, let's see, these are gonna be, how did I miss something? How did I miss crystals? I didn't check to make sure that I had gotten everything. So I'm looking for, and you'll probably tell me that it's right there and it's gonna bite me. I'm actually looking for crystal 3906, which is supposed to be a 6x4 rondelle like these guys, but in an evergreen AB. And my friends, I don't see it. I don't see that at all, like in my other piles. I thought maybe it had gotten mixed in with my gemstones. So I need to make a little mark on that. And if I don't find it by the end of this haul, I'll contact them and let them know that I had something missing. Because I like green, but I didn't get the green. And I have a really rude neighbor that keeps driving up and down the street on his motorcycle with his music blaring. So if that's coming through, I'm sorry. He's enjoying a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. Okay, I don't have a pen in here. I should have a pen in here, but again, oh, I do have a pen in here. I moved into a new space, but I used to use this space as when I worked as a coordinator with exchange students. And I had some promotional supplies. I thought I had some promotional supplies. I got bag clips and balloons. There should be some pens in there, but there's not. So never mind. I don't have a pen. I will have to just remember that I didn't get something. So I guess we'll see how that goes. All right. Crystal. So if we skip past that one, then we have this one. This is 6x4 crystal faceted rondelle beads in Rosaline AB. And again, I'm sorry, I bumped that. Beautiful, beautiful Rosaline color. Got to swirl that around so that you can get a really nice view. See all those sparkles. I think it's a really, really pretty crystal. And then we also have this one. This is the same again, so the same size in Montana Blue AB. And you guys know me and my moody blues. And it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I love the sparkle in that guy. I really do. Really, really do. And then I've got 27, that's these guys. So this is just a smaller 4mm faceted bicone. This is in blue zircon luster. Another very beautiful color. Super sparkly and fun. That's the best part about the crystals, isn't it? They're sparkly and fun. And then I've got this one, 31. This is 8x6 crystal rondelle beads in a champagne luster. So very neutral color, but warm. This can go with so many different metal tones and other beads, gemstones that you want to focus on. Such a pretty, pretty color. I like that champagne color. And then after that one, we've got 53, which is The same size again, but this one is in a sky blue jade luster. And these are going to go really well with some other crystals that I have. I'm sorting my crystals next. So sorting these into my crystals is going to be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to that. And then I've got this guy. Wait. Oh, they grabbed the wrong crystals. That's what happened. So I was supposed to get CRYS 3910. This is CRYS 3909. I don't mind. I mean, it's pretty, but it's not what I ordered. These are rounds, crystal rounds in an AB. I'm not sure exactly what color this would be, because again, this is not on the packing list, but this is what happens. They just grabbed the wrong baggie. So if they still have my evergreen, I'm sure they'll send that back out. I will contact them and let them know in case they do have it. Otherwise, I'll just tell them that I'll just keep what they missent instead if they don't have it. So their customer service is fantastic, and I know that they'll fix that for me if they can. I was wondering why I suddenly had an extra strand. It's because they sent that instead. Just a small mistake. They sent me some blue rounds instead of evergreen rondelles. So it could have been worse. This is, let's see, this is the same as the blue ones we just looked at, but in a jade pink luster. Again, super pretty. It's a really nice baby pink that I happen to love. It's so soft. It's such a soft pink. So those are my crystal friends. So next up, it looks like I've got one of my Czech glass. For some reason, they've got Czech glass in one section and then Czech in another section. I think it's because they had some under an old prefix, which was plain CZ, whereas the rest of the Czech glass is going to come in under MACZ. So just so I don't lose track of it, I am going to go ahead and show you this one. These guys right here. This is a CZ 7017, and these are Czech glass pressed teardrop beads in rosaline. Again, that pretty rosaline color. And they're just so nice. I love that. That again, very softly pink. Softly pink. Okay. And then when they did kind of the they had a lot of like the bulk stuff. So I got one strand from the bulk from the Christmas in July, and that's this one. Let me get this undone because I don't want this crinkly paper. Sorry for the unintentional ASMR. Gonna remove that. I'm gonna come back into a normal distance. And this is a black oolitic jasper in a flat oval bead. Oolitic jasper is what this is. And it's just some of their like big bulk stuff that they had. They did a random pick of various strands later on in the Christmas in July. But this is the one that that I ended up getting. I do like black tones, and I thought this one looked really interesting. So that was my one bulk item. So moving on to the only one I have that's a finding prefix is these guys. These are 4 pieces of swirled drops in antique silver. They are 20.5 by 17.5. So the round part is going to be 17.5 and then 20.5 when you add in the little bail. But this little pattern that it has here in this bail, I don't know if you can see that little dotted flower pattern. This is something that matches some of my favorite spacers that I use. They're kind of these angular shaped spacers that I've used in the past and I have gotten more of. So this is actually going to go really well with that. And it's a set of 4 of these swirled, basically charms. They're drops, but They've got a little bail on them, and I got 2 sets. So I'm just going to put all 8. Again, they were sold in quantities of 4. I'm going to put all 8 in the one little baggie. Okay, let's see. After that, oh, we are to gems. We're ready for the gems. I was excited with how many gems that they had in this sale, including some cubes and other fun things. I got a lot of items that I really like here. So let's get into these, because this is fun. I love gems. So first off is this guy. Yes, it's a 15-inch strand. It's Gems 6208, and I am going to go ahead and give you the numbers. Some of these items they might have more of. They might have as regular stock, because that is one of the things they did with Christmas in July. They did add some items that were only for Christmas in July, but then they also discounted other items. So I'm not sure which fall into which category, but I'm going to show you all of them. So this is a 4mm prehnite, finely faceted round bead. Here is my ladybug. So you can see the sparkle with that faceting and the really light colors with the little bits of almost grass-like inclusions. They're not grass, but they're grass-like. Love that. Becky says it makes her think of lake water, and I do not disagree. This one is listed as a Christmas in July item. I guess they did. They did list some of the ones that were only added for Christmas in July of these gems. So like I said, these may not be available anymore. 6491. This is a 15-inch strand of 2 to 2.5mm light peach moonstone faceted cube beads, and they are so tiny but so pretty. Would you look at that? These guys are so small. I'm going to move that around so you can see the light from the faceting, but also the moonstone. You catch a few little glimmers of that chatoyancy, I think it's called. I don't remember. I'm still learning these things, but this is really pretty. And I'm very excited that I have that. That's going to make some nice little additions to a design. So love that. Love that. And I did not put my prehnite back in its bag. That's just for me to reference. All of these are going to end up out of their bags anyway when I sort them somewhere, but we don't need a mess of empty bags. So get this where you can still kind of see what I've already opened. Let's see. Okay, and then, so I got some things that were new to me. I was not familiar with tree agate, and I got a couple of different things in tree agate. This is the first one that's listed. It's the more of those 2 to 2.5mm faceted cubes, a 15-inch strand. But it has a lot of white and kind of dark foresty greens and some other kind of neutral tones in between. I'm seeing a tiny bit of purples. That might be like the wrong stone done, but it's got a lot of things going on. And when Lauren described this, she said it reminded her of like a snow-covered forest. And that is exactly the vibe that I'm getting from this. So I was not familiar with tree agate, but I love it. I low-key love tree agate. The other tree agate item that I got, it's actually next on my list, so I'll bring that up. It is a 15-inch strand of 4.5 to 5mm faceted cube beads. So here you've got a larger size because they're 4 to 4.5mm. It's got some of these like little pink inclusions. You can see more of the variation in the agate itself within the same section. So that purple that I thought might have been a mistake in the other one, it's not. It's existing here right along with these creamy tones that it has. So I think this is a really cool looking bead, and I'm excited to add that to my repertoire, so to speak, of green leaning stones that could be really fun to create with. So I'm really happy about that, the tree agate. And then some more little mini faceted cubes. These ones are amethyst, 2 to 2.5 millimeter, 15-inch strand. Lots of purple thread there. Look past it to see the amethyst. But this is some really nice amethyst. It's kind of a mid-tone purple. I prefer the darkest tones, but at least it's not this really super light ones that I'm just not that interested in. So if I'm going to use amethyst, I want it to be bold. And this is a good, nice kind of medium. Even with the purple strand inside it, you can tell that that's got some good color, good tone to it. And then after our amethyst, we have this 10 pieces, which these were part of the April Showers bead box. And they sold off some more of them. These are Amazonite teardrops. Make sure that that's, yep. Make sure it's focusing. And I just love Amazonite. So when they were on there and I could get them, I went ahead and did. Got those. And that's a 7034. And then we've got some more Christmas and July only things. We've got some more prenite. I want to say prenite, but I think that I've heard Lauren say it as prenite, but I've learned that there's a lot of different stones that are pronounced a multitude of ways. So it just kind of depends on where you've heard it before, what it feels like to you. But I got these. I love prenite, and mostly I don't think I've had anything bigger than a 4 millimeter before, but these are 6 millimeter. And they've got a lot more of the darker kind of grassy inclusions in it, and I'm really excited about that. I love the visual interest in this, that you get in this size, because there's enough room to show that. So I think this is pretty cool. That's a brand, that is a strand that makes me very happy. The prenite or prenite, however you want to say it. The lake water gemstone. So that's the two different sizes together. But that makes me happy. Makes me happy. All right. Then after that, I've got some more apatite. I have found a new love for apatite. This one's blue and white. And there's a little bit more white in it than some of the other apatite that I have, the blue apatite that I have. But this is a naturally vibrant stone. This is not dyed. 4 millimeter rounds. I think those are lovely, lovely, lovely. And then, because I don't think I actually have any citrine, and I saw an opportunity to get some, I went heavy on the gemstones in my Christmas in July, in case you haven't noticed. Lots of gemstones and lots of Czech glass. So we'll get to the Czech glass. But here is my citrine. Again, this is going to be the 4 to 4.5 millimeter faceted round cubes, and it is heated to bring out that natural color, but it is not dyed. So that is heated to bring out those nice little honey yellow. I like that. I am fond of that. And then we've got some more peach moonstone. That's this guy. This is the 4.5 millimeter moonstone, peach moonstone. And then I also got, is this guy right? Yeah, this guy. The 4.5 millimeter sunstone. So we've got moonstone and sunstone right here. So moonstone on the left, sunstone on the right. I just love those together, those kind of pinky peachy colors. And again, those little flashes of light that you get in them. I love a stone with good flash. Just like I love like labradorite and labradorite and larvicite. I just love that a lot. Okay, so then after that one, after the sunstone, we have a 3 millimeter, so it's 15 inches of 3 millimeter garnet cube beads. And they did put a purple thread through there, so it does look a little bit more purpley than garnet, but that is really pretty. And again, they're little cubes, and those are harder to do harder process to cut. And so there were so many that were in the Christmas in July. I just had to snag those up. All right, I've got 2 more gems. Why did that one? I have one here that's listed as gems. Oh, yeah, it was there, but I just skipped over it. I'm like, why is this earlier number still sitting here? I'm going to go back to that real quick. This is a 15-inch strand of man-made hematite, coated faceted round beads in a matte antique bronze. So this is a way for me to add a metal tone without actually adding any metal to my design. So I can use those as spacers, and they're really fun, but they're also matte. So they have a little bit of light that glints off of the facets, but they're not a super shiny item. So those are listed under the gemstones. Okay, and now this is my last strand of gemstones. This is dark iolite faceted rounds. They're 4mm. And I didn't have any iolite before. So I wanted to get this and kind of play with it, see it in person, not just on, because it's got a lot of those moody blue tones, and blues and grays, a little bit of kind of brown tones, but this feels very Jenny color-wise, and so I wanted to play with that a little bit. That is our gemstones. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. We still have a lot to get through, but I love having all of these great new choices to add to my stash, because as I have said before, I'm still stash building. So having these things is really important to me. How did I miss that? Hold on. Hold on. Did they give me 3, 2? Oh, okay. So no, I got 2 strands of iolite. I thought that was funny. Okay, so these were the light ones. These were the same ones, but because there was a lot of variation in the batch, these are the dark ones. So lighter and darker strands of the same. So light on the left and dark on the right. And you can see that there's a few more lighter and translucent stones in the one on the left, and more of the dark bordering on black charcoal colors on the right. That's where that was. Knew I had something I was missing. Like I said, 4 pages. I'm bound to read something out of order. Bound to. Okay. So after our gemstones, we've got our glass selections. Now, some of these glass selections were actually, I think all of these, yes, all of these glass selections were items that were in my wish list, and they were running low on quantity, so I bought them along with the Christmas in July. So these didn't have the Christmas in July discount, but I was still able to apply my 30% off, which did not apply to the Christmas in July, but because I applied that code, it did take 30% off of the additional items that I added in there. So we'll run through these real quick, because I think I've got one bag. There it is. No, not that. I've got these guys, but then I've also got some bicones listed that is supposed to have a glass prefix, but I don't see it here. Oh, nope, there they are. There they are, those bicones. Okay, so these are my glass items. And like I said, this one I think was leaving soon, but it was not in Christmas in July. This is just some of the color-lined glass bicones in the sea green. So I got that. And then this is where I got some things. So I got these. This is 4 pieces of the handmade glazed porcelain, which they list under glass. The porcelain is listed under glass. Nautilus beads. There were several colors. This was my favorite. So I just got these. And he matches, that's in the mint green, he matches this starfish. I'm about to show you all three of these starfish. After I get these back in their bagged. So I got all three of these starfish, and I'll just show them to you in the bag because they show just fine. So we've got this in the pink, mint green, and cornflower blue. And I loved these guys. And again, they can be used as a focal. There's no metal. And so this gives me options, whether I use them this summer or next summer, or just when I feel like adding in a starfish, then I have them. And they match those Nautilus shells. I also added, because they matched some of the items from the June box, which I really loved. I did miss out. There were some turtles that were this color. They sold out while I was trying to check out, so I didn't get those. But I did get the Magma AB and the Steel Blue Iris starfish beads. So those are the glass selections. Technically, there's more glass coming, but they're listed under lamp. So we will get to them. Let's see. In fact, lamp is next. Lamp is next. Get all my lampwork guys over here. Okay, so I got a little crazy. So they had the 8mm, that's going to be this guy, pink with sea green, bumpy lampwork bead. Like this, just this little softly pink and green. And if you've seen some of my designs lately, that is a color combination that I love. They also have the same color. Oh wait, no, that was the 10mm I just showed you. These are the 8mm of the same, and I got two of them because I thought, how cute would these be to do like maybe necklace and an earrings, or use, you know, both sizes in a design. So since they had enough and they had the smaller ones, I did get two of those. I only got one of the larger ones. And then, oops, that's what I'm doing. Here we go. Sorry, that's what happens when I have extra bags, because I've ordered multiples and they put the bags inside a bag. So I end up with 3 bags. So I've got those guys. And then I also got these ones, different colorway. These are just the 8mm ones. They didn't have a 10mm for me to buy to match it, but these are pink with dark pink. I'll just show you one of them. Another little bumpy lampwork dude. Just for something fun and different. Fun and different. And then the last lampwork item that I have right here is, this was a Christmas in July item, and it is a lampwork Christmas tree, because I had to get something that was Christmas, and this little guy was too perfect not to. There he is from the side, front and back, with that lampwork detailing added in glass. So he's my little lampwork Christmas tree. I did get a Christmas themed, I think it's the only Christmas themed item I got in my Christmas in July purchase, but he's there. It's good. Time for some Czech glass. Here's the rest of that Czech glass. And that's the one we already looked at, so I've put it off to the side. Okay, and because these are not zip bags, I'm just going to be picking them up and showing you from the back of the package. So the first thing that I've got is this guy right here. These are 6mm Czech glass drooks in powder blue opal. And then I've got some more 6mm pressed glass drooks in carnelian orange. This is an orange to me that doesn't say orange, but it's because it's carnelian. And then 6mm pressed glass flower beads in rosaline. These are just the little flowers, Czech glass flowers. I love Czech glass flowers. They're so sweet. And then 551. Here they are. These are 6mm Czech glass bicone beads in Capri Blue. These are the ones that I love because they're a softer, they don't have sharp edges to them, and I like that a lot. This also matches a pendant that Beki snagged for me and some other Capri Blue pressed glass things. So I'm probably going to use these in a design with those at some point. And then we have the same again in light aqua. Light aqua. Do you notice a trend? I like my blues. I do like my blues. And then we've got, let's see. Here they are. These are the same again, same size in deep ruby red. And then we've got these, not those guys, these guys. Yes. These are a 6mm pressed glass round coin bead, and that's a milky rose swirl. Those are a lot of fun, I think. Those will be fun to play with. Then we've got these guys. These are Czech glass filigree oval beads. Now, I wish that I could open these to show you, but I'm gonna hold it up. So I'm gonna hold it up. They're kind of dimpled. They've got a dimpled texture to them. This oval, I don't know that I would call it filigree, but it is kind of a dimpled texture. So it looks like it's not just a smooth glass bead, but it is dimpled. Let's see. Where did that go? And that's in jet. And then the next one I've got is some more Czech glass flowers. And I'm pretty sure I already have these, so these are just gonna get added to it. But these are matte aqua with a vitriol. And the vitriol's on one side. But I love that color, all that color variation that you got in there. Those are super fun. And then some closeout. This is 909. They didn't give me that. I had, that wasn't 909, was it? It was 908. So it looks like they grabbed two of these 910. These are both the same. These are the 6mm Czech pressed glass flower beads in ruby red. What I had ordered was one bag of the ruby red and one bag of aqua. So I don't know if they ran out of the aqua and just substituted for the ruby red, or if this was another one, just because these were massive, massive orders that these guys were filling. So if there were mistakes that were made, I completely understand. So that's going to be another one. I'll just kind of set that aside. I'll dig out my crystal in a bit and just ask them about those two, if they were substituted on purpose or if they were picked by mistake. Because if they were substituted on purpose, that's fine. I'll go ahead and just, use them. But there's nothing on the packing list to indicate that. So I think they would mark the packing list if it was substituted on purpose. And then we've got these ones. These are two-tone crystal and ruby red 6-glass drooks. Oops. A little bit off screen for that. And I've got, sorry, I brought my packing list over, so my phone was trying to focus on that instead of the beads. Like, focus on the good stuff. Focus on the good stuff. And that ends the Czech glass portion of this haul. Next up, we have pendants. I saw an opportunity because there were a whole bunch of stone pendants that were listed. And so I grabbed some of my favorite stones and their pendants. So, oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Oh, I lucked out on that one. Okay. Okay. This one is actually, okay, this is the first one. I don't have a whole lot of Unakite. There's a lot of times I don't like the colors that I get in my cross section, but this, oh my gosh, friends, do you see how beautiful that is? Honestly, it looks like blossoming tree branches. How beautiful is that? This is it's funny because I kind of snagged on that and it's the very first one. This is the Unikite. It is 29 by 25 millimeter faceted hexagon pendant. And I used one of these recently in black. So I have ideas on how to do that, but this is actually really, really pretty. And I was a little unsure choosing to get the Unikite just because some of the variations I'm not that happy with, but it does. It looks like blossoming branches. And my mind is already getting excited about that. Super, super excited with the one that I got there. And then I got a couple of other hexagon pendants. This one I'm also really happy with. I don't have a lot of natural tiger's eye. I have a lot of dyed tiger's eye, but this is a natural tiger's eye. Oh, look at that movement. It's so pretty. I mean, it's gorgeous. Both sides. Both sides. And I showed you both sides of the Unikite. That is also beautiful on both sides. Really, really happy. Like $2 for a stone pendant. How could I not? How could I not? It's just so pretty. So pretty. And then the other one that I got in that shape is this amethyst. And it's also got some really cool variation. I'm gonna actually hold this over. It's hard to see because it casts a shadow on itself, but see how it's like almost translucent at the bottom there? Yeah, you can see that, and it just kind of mistily, like the purple of the amethyst mistily drops down into it. Like this has so much going on that this has a lot of beautiful, beautiful interest in it. And again, gorgeous, no matter which side it's on. I think I favored this side a slightly bit more, but it can be worn either direction. It looks like a storm. One of the things when we had exchange students is they were always shocked because they came from large European cities. They were shocked when we told them, because they were looking at the sky and they were trying to figure out what was going on, that you could actually see rain falling at a distance. That if the rain comes down heavily enough and it's not raining where you are, you can see the sky just kind of drip down and become this rain. And that's what I feel like is happening in this stone. And yeah. So excited about this, friends. Oh my gosh, it's so great. It's so great. Let's see. And then we've got our rectangles. I got this one as a lapis lazuli. These ones are 15 by 18 millimeter. And these ones do have a front and back. They're more flat on one side and they're more curved on the other. But you can see the pyrite inclusions in here. You can see that catching the light a little bit. And it's really pretty. I mean, both sides would have been pretty, but this is the side that is curved. And then the same again, but amethyst. I'm embracing these darker amethyst. And this has some really, like, I'm not sure what caused this. It's like there's this kind of a rectangular, which it fits because this is a rectangular pendant, but it's got these sharp lines in how that formed that I'm not actually used to seeing. So that's a really interesting one. And I'm holding it up so that you can see it'll cast its own shadow, but it is a little bit, again, a little bit of translucency through parts of that. And then, because why not? If I'm adding a tiger's eye hexagon, why not get a tiger's eye rectangle, right? Yes. Yes. So I got this guy. So that I can have some more choices, because sometimes I'll get a bead box that only has metal focal pieces, and they're ones that aren't labeled as nickel free, so I can't trust them. And so being able to use my own pendants, these stone pendants, is really important. This one is a little bit harder to deal with. This one is a fancy jasper hand carved center drilled flower focal. I just need to learn how to work with these. I need to learn to do more wire wrapping. That's one of the things that's on my list of areas to improve. But I do think that I ended up with a really pretty one. Fancy Jasper also has a lot of variation. I love this soft kind of sagey green and these creamy inclusions and variation in it. I think that that's really pretty. So another option, something else that I can choose. And then this matches one that I've already got, an Amazonite faceted teardrop pendant, 25 millimeter. They had it again, and I said, why not? Because I love Amazonite. And so I've got another one of those. That's it for my stone pendants. We are almost done, friends. Are you ready for, we'll do the pearls last. Let's do some spacers and toggles. Spacers and toggles. Sorry, bumping again. I really am get better at that. Okay, so I kind of went, I didn't go nuts because I didn't get a whole bunch, but if there were good deals on the Christmas in July spacers, I got 2 packs of each. So let's go ahead and, yes, I'm going to show you these ones, and I have used these before. They're kind of oval, but they've got kind of this flattened end to it. They're called rounded square dell spacer beads in antique bronze. They're 4.5 by 3.5 millimeter. I have some more in my findings box that I will add them to, but in the meantime, I'll just pour these 2 in together. I did get 2 packets of those because I have used them and I found that I really liked them. And so getting some more, especially at a great deal, and knowing they were nickel free, I just had to. I had to. Let's see. Then we've got these guys, SPC 1579. These are fancy bicone spacer beads in antique silver. And I probably am calling it the wrong thing, but I think of these as more lantern shapes because they look like, to me, a Chinese lantern, where they're slightly rounded through the middle. Put some on this right here, and then they've got like a cap top and bottom. So to me, they look like lanterns. And I have probably called them that when I use them because, again, this is a spacer that I have used. And so when I saw that they were available and I could get a good deal on them, I snatched those up. I also got, let's see, these guys. I use these a lot too. These probably look familiar. I used them actually very recently when I did my black lip shell flower necklace. I used these because of the lines on them. Again, they're ones I use a lot. They're nickel free, and they are 4 by 5 millimeter fancy bicone spacer beads in antique silver. Or these are the corrugated. No, these are the corrugated ones. Same size, 50 millimeter corrugated bicone spacer beads. 4 millimeter. Did I say 50 millimeter? I was looking at 50 pieces. 4 millimeter. Yeah, that would be big. And then they had the same, again, this is the same style, but in the antique bronze. So again, snatch those up. And I'm combining them into one bag so that I can more easily store these. And if I already have these spacers in my findings, then they'll all just combine together when I organize these things. And then these spacers I had in my cart because I needed them for a project coming up where I am going to rewrap some items that came in one of my anniversary bundles with nickel-free options. These are nickel-free daisy spacers. So this, along with the nickel-free craft wire from Softflex, I'm going to be able to rewrap those items and be able to use them as intended, but I will know that the metal is safe for me in case it touches my skin. So those are my spacers. Here are the toggles. And basically this was an opportunity to stock up on some of my chunky jumbo toggle clasps. So I won't go into too much detail with them, I'll show you, but I got all of these in the variety of, this is the silver, the antique silver, antique gold, and antique bronze. So same style for all three of those. And then also these ones in the flowers. So antique silver, antique gold, and antique bronze. So I will get those also incorporated into my closure stash. Oh, and sorry, missed these guys. Antique copper. This one was available in antique copper, so I got some of those. The flower ones weren't, but the heart ones were. So I recently used some of my last antique copper clasps on a surprise for my sister, which she's going to see this week. Yay. And so I needed to get some more. So those are those. So here are the last two items that I got in mine. They had all these different freshwater pearl strands that you could get. And let me get this open so that we can look at this, because there's a lot of variation in these. And so these are, let's see, so this is going to be a 15.5-inch strand. Move this out of the way so that we're just looking at these. 15.5-inch strand. These are all 8 to 9 millimeter semi-irregular rice beads, it says. These are more roundish to me, but I know that there's a lot of variation, so it's fine. I'm happy with these. I just wanted to get some freshwater pearls. I want to try knotting, and I thought that these would make a great material to do that with. And then these ones, I wanted a strand of smaller ones, and I did get that, and a strand of larger ones. This is a 16-inch strand of 9 by 10, and I'm leaving both here so you can see the size difference. These are 9 to 10 millimeter freshwater pearls, banded irregular semi-round. So there's a lot of banding on these, and I just think that's pretty cool. So they add a lot of visual interest, and I think that this is going to be a good selection to come from. So I'm going to be trying those, and that is the last of my Christmas in July. We made it. We only just barely went past an hour. To be fair, some of that was also spent on opening up my craft wire at the beginning. But I think we all knew, this being Christmas in July, that this was going to be a long haul video. So thank you for staying in for the long haul and being a fun part of this. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit like, ring the bell so you know when Becky and I have new videos, and leave us a comment. We love comments. So I hope that you enjoy this. Happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye.